Every species carries a flaw, not by accident, not by mistake, all by design. For some, it's a weakness of body. For others, lack of strength. For some, dependence on environment. But for us, humans, it's something very different. It lives in our behavior, against each other, against our environment, but overall, it's a tendency to destroy what sustains us, to dismantle what made us strong in the first place. I call it the activation of a self-destructive gene. And I believe that this gene activates when we believe that we have seen the light. So, this is my point in this video, is that societies resemble the function of the human body, and vice versa. The human body reflects how society works. So, I believe that every time a society, however big or small it is, loses its coordination or its way, it seems to me like a human that is sick. For example, let's talk about an autoimmune disease, where the body turns on itself. Cells mistake neighbors for threats and try to kill them. The defense mechanisms, like our defense system, attacks the tissues that it exists to protect. Or another example, cancer. Unchecked progress, unchecked growth, without restraint, without purpose or meaning. The system grows, the tumor grows, and the host weakens and eventually dies. Or another example that I can think of, the media and the whole civilization and culture environment. This resembles to the nervous system that when it's overreacting and accepts constant signals from everywhere with no recovery, no recovery time, no hierarchy, everything comes and goes and nothing is filtered, everything screams, nothing makes sense, it causes panic and eventually the brain shuts down. The same happens to societies. And then there are the scars tissue, the old wounds that each of us has on our bodies, and the same happens to societies. History gets erased, but perhaps in the minds of those who are uninitiated, but societies remember. And every time we forgot our history, the scar is there to remind us, and the scar may open again, and blood will flow again. So there are many analogies, many more analogies that I can find between society and the human body. And I think that this self-destructive gene happens to activate in both our bodies and our minds, as well as in the society. At first, there is a symptom in the way we think. We stop thinking about the future generations. We think in billing cycles, election cycles, news cycles. We have made our minds think periodically, but not in the grand scheme of things. We have to survive the month. We have to survive inflation, the next emergency or attack, or a black swan event that may occur, and we have to be ready for it. And all that makes us forget about making families. That's why birth rates fall and no one is taking notes. One big reason is that families and the reproduction in general has been reduced to a risky business, only suitable for a few elite families and people who only have the ability to make and raise children. Parenthood is something that detracts many freedoms for those who decide to follow this path. And for many societies, the whole structure of family has been distorted in progressive and liberal and unnatural shapes. So, taking all of that into consideration and how society attacks its own people, not only in a profound way, but in a subtle way, in many cases, I believe that we have to start noticing what's going on. And a good start is to start from ourselves, from within. We have to make sure that we understand that if we are not do something about ourselves, there is no one coming to help us. And in that matter, unless our society do something for itself, no other society will come, or adjacent society or adjacent nation or whatever group will come to save you, at least in a good faith. For some natural phenomena, destruction and death, of course, death is inevitable, and it's part of the nature. Along with death comes life, a new life, a repurpose of materials that return back to Earth. For us humans and for society, that repurposing of materials is called family, is called children, it's called a new generation of people, of humans, which in the long run, they are becoming better than us in almost everything. Every new generation is smarter, has more tools in its disposal, and along with them, many dangers that come with this progress. That's why I believe that if we at first have children and try to raise them properly, it's one of the few tools we have in our disposal to break the cycle and try to have hope again. Because if we leave things as they are now, I think that the end of our normal lives is coming to an end. There is too many enemies at the gates ready to pour in, and many of them have already done so. In this video, I tried to describe what is happening today as a natural phenomenon. And in nature, gives us, and every living organism within it, gives the tools to survive if these tools are used wisely. If we forget about the tools we have in our disposal, and we forget about them collectively and personally, I think that we may not have a lot of time on this earth. And when the big test for our species comes, we will be unprepared. Start thinking beyond the next day, beyond the next month or year, but in an event horizon that may span for the next decade, and that may be too late. So this is the video. Thank you for staying this long. I would appreciate a subscribe if you liked what you heard, if it made sense to you, and if you are on this side of things. If not, dislike the video and send the related message on the comments. For now, bye bye and see you on the next one.